Hey everybody, this is Lena, and you're watching Lena's Life. I'm doing a video. It's been a while. I think the last time I did one was probably, hmm, was it the cats? Lost a few subscribers for that one. People didn't really appreciate the fact that I that we gave the fact that I that we gave our cats back to the owners and stuff. But regardless, life goes on. We move forward, and life is what it is, right? But anyway, I don't know what to say. It's been a long time. That's for sure. Summer came and went. Fall time is upon us as I look outside my window. Fall time is upon us as I look outside my window. Here in beautiful Silver City, the winds of change are upon us, and I can see winter coming. It's almost like, is that snow in the background over there? Anyway, we're ready for whatever though. I was able to go to the thrift store locally here, and I was able to get some really good deals on some winter clothes because I got rid of a lot of my clothing when I left for Minnesota, and then I came back with only summer things and maybe a fleece jacket. That was pretty much my winter clothing. So, needless to say, I was able to pick up some new clothes. One of the things that I got was, well, I was gonna show it to you. I don't know if I should, but anyway, maybe I'll show it to you some other time. I was able to pick up some jackets, some long sleeves. As you can see here, I've got just a practical long sleeve, um, shirt, top. It's like I had only short sleeves and sleeveless. So, needless to say, that wasn't going to get me through the winter time. And I was able to get some boots from Torrid that I really like. I haven't worn them yet, but they're like a taupe color, and they're going to be really practical for here in this wonderful part of the world that does get cold. The weather get all four seasons here, and we do, snow here sometimes. Weather can change and stuff. The leaves are falling. We had a beautiful fall time, and the bright oranges and the reds and stuff came out, and I've got a good selection of fruit before it got cold and stuff like that. I was able to get some pomegranates a few times. There's still what they call quinces. I don't know if you guys know what those are, but they're little. Well, they're not little. They're actually a fruit that is, I think it's Asian, but it is kind of a cross between a pear and an apple. I don't know. And it smells like, I don't know, like, that juicy striped bubble gum, that you would probably get when you were a kid or something like that. It has that smell to it, that scent. But anyway, the reason I decided to do a video today specifically is that I wrote a blog this morning because today is November 12th, 2018, and 5 years ago, November 12th, 11, 12, 13 was the first day that I basically started taking estrogen and stuff and went to my doctor's appointment, and pretty much kind of like sealed the deal with the choices that I had made in my life. Those choices have really affected me in a very major way. It's something that, looking back, I knew the degree of change that would happen, and I'm not talking physically or anything like that. I mean, I'm over that kind of thing. But I don't know, I guess just the ramifications of what I actually created for myself, namely, never being able to see my children again, basically. And that's something that weighed on me this morning, because what I would give to be able to hug them again, but it's almost like, at this point, I don't even know if I even had children. I know I did. I know I brought 5 lives into this world, but at this point, I'm not sure, because life has changed so dramatically and so drastically that it is something that, I don't know, it's like an alternate universe, an alternate galaxy. It's another world of existence. I knew the changes were going to be monumental, because I came from a family that was definitely not welcoming of anything like this. And I wrote in my blog, that I had basically lived a life of suppression, lived a life of not wanting to reveal the truth about what I was struggling with. And those things, were things that I was going to guard and hold in my heart for the rest of my life, and no one would ever find out, no one. It was never going to happen. And the thing is, everyone found out. And exactly what I feared, exactly what I was hoping wouldn't happen, but that I knew would happen, so in effect, kind of creating my reality, did happen. And the repercussions have never left me the same, or those that I affected, But I have no idea, I have no clue as to what ramifications those were for my children, for my ex, for my mom, for my sister, or anybody who knew me back then or had come across me at work, or, it just, I knew that something was not ever going to be the same. Nothing was ever going to be the same, actually. But I wouldn't want to blame anybody, I'm not bitter at my ex at all. I'm saddened that still, after all these years, that I've been pretty much disallowed from engaging in the lives of my children. When I left in June of 2014 for Minnesota, was the last time that I saw my 4-year-old son, who's now 9. and my two other boys who are, now I think, let's see, it becomes a blur. I think my second to youngest son is 12, and my other son is 15. My daughter is 18 and in college. My oldest boy, who I was able to connect with this summer, or late spring actually, and that I held promise and had actually hoped that things would change. I don't know, that there would be a new like open chance for a relationship of some sort. Well, that kind of came and went. It's like, we saw each other for like a few hours. We hugged. We shared in a meal. And then he was off back to college, and I was on my way to Minnesota. But it brought me great hope. It brought me lots of joy and excitement to think that maybe, just maybe, things would be different. But I guess they weren't. Things weren't different at all. Actually, things got worse, because at one point I had a conversational type of a connection with my son, that I could text him anytime and he would respond and stuff. But now, the last text that I had exchanged with him, he hadn't spoken to me, so I was like, I wonder if he's getting my texts. I wonder if he's picking up my, because I got a new phone, so, my phone number changed and everything. I was like, maybe he just doesn't have my number. And so I checked with him, and I said, are you getting my texts and stuff? And he abruptly answered and told me, yeah, I'm getting your text. I just basically don't want to talk to you, not really up for conversation, is what he told me. So, I've learned to be positive. I've learned to accept that my decisions have forever altered the relationships that I've ever had. I'm very aware and open to the fact that I may never ever see grandchildren in my lifetime, or my children for that matter. And it really does play like a mind game with you. It's like you're almost like, I don't know, it's like you almost feel like you've been dropped off on another planet, and that the life that you used to have was just not reality. But then I look through my old Google pictures, or on my computer, and I see smiling young little faces and moments and trips and things that remind me that life was different at one point, and now life is not that way anymore, by my own doing. There's no excuses, there's no reasonings, there's no questioning, there's nothing that surprises me about what has happened, because everything that's taken place in my life has been orchestrated by none other than me. I have been basically the captain of my domain. I have done, created, caused, everything in my life to happen. And I don't blame anybody, because they're not guilty. It's me who decided that I was incomplete and that I needed to find my way in life, and that if it meant that I lost everything, then I was willing to give it all up for finding truth, and that's where I am today. I'm here, I'm in this life, I'm still alive, thank God, I'm healthy, thank God, I've got the love and support of a wonderful spouse, and life is so much different than it was then. And I'm grateful for his unconditional love for me. I am thankful that I have been able to learn lots of things in this journey that included gender questioning and stuff like that. And I accept the fact that many people are going to just totally not respect what I did with my life, not respect me as a person, not want to associate with me because they feel like I'm like a pariah or an evil person or a person that has become demonically possessed or influenced or whatever. And I understand you have every right, you have every right to feel that way, and holding the beliefs that you do and holding the things that you do as valuable. And some people, they would never ever consider ever letting go of their family, and yet here I sit, thousands of miles separated from the only children I ever had, and totally disconnected from them. It was my choice, so I could be an evil person to you, or you could have compassion on me for dealing with what I have had to deal with for most of my life. It's neither here nor there. I'm not in charge of your opinions about me, but I do struggle with the realities of losing my children. On days like today, I think about, gosh, 5 years ago, if I knew what was going to take place, and if I were to know the like permanence of my decision, would I have taken these steps? Would I have gone and done what I did? Would I have so brazenly chosen to disassociate myself from my family just because I felt like I wasn't living in truth to who I was? It's a tough question, because as we come into the holidays, it's always harder, because I love the holidays. I love Christmas. I love the time that I could buy a Christmas tree, put up the lights, decorate the house, and have the Christmas socks out and the toys, and looking up at what I wanted to get my kids for Christmas, and teaching valuable lessons about being thankful and giving to people on Thanksgiving, and finding a needy family during the holidays, and taking my kids with me to Walmart or wherever, and just gifting people and blessing people and letting that be an example to others and sharing and, you know, yeah, that was cool. Being able to be a good example. And I remember there was a song that I used to sing and play on my keyboard by a Christian band. It was called uh, oh, I forget. It's like, he wants to be like me, so I need to be a living example for what he wants to see. And, you know, I mean, so talking about my kids, you know, being an example, but, you know, obviously, I kind of fell short. Well, not kind of. I did. I fell short in a massive way, you know, in a massive way. I don't like dwell on the fact that I'm guilty. I accept it. I know that I made huge mistakes, you know, in order to pursue what I thought I needed to pursue. And it's sad because the losses are real. And if you are considering doing anything remotely similar to what I did, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Believe me, I'm just one person, but I would never recommend this to anyone. The losses are great, and every family is different, but if you have children, don't do this. They don't deserve it, you know. If you struggle with your gender and you're really having a hard time of it, count the cost. Think about the consequences of not just your decision and how it affects you, but your decision and how it affects others. Because others' lives will never be the same. They won't. They just won't. I know that. My children's lives, their children, it's a generational thing. It really is. It's something that, you know, it's like, you don't think about it though when you're doing it. You think nothing about the fact that, you know, gee, what are they going to tell their kids, you know? Oh, so who was your dad? And we never see him around, and, you know, it's a huge source of embarrassment for especially a Christian family, you know, who had so many values that basically I crossed and didn't take into account how it would affect. So, yeah. I'm grateful though. I'm grateful that I'm still alive. I'm grateful that I'm still here. I'm grateful that I have the love and adoration of Mark. And I almost blew it. I almost got rid of that. The last vestige of unconditional love in this world, I almost gave up on. Or I did give up on it. I gave up on him. And he's the only one that ever loved me regardless of what I did or didn't do to myself, or however I presented or anything. I mean, he just loved me for me. And I'm happy to say that we are very much in love and happy to be together, and I'm very grateful for him. I'm very grateful for the things that he's taught me about life, about love, about God even. You know, it's like I remember when we first met online and he said, you know, you and I, we're not that different, you know. And I thought, hey, this guy doesn't even believe in Jesus, and he's not a believer in the sense of like where my Christian roots were. And he's like, we're a lot closer than you think. And the truth is, that's the truth. We are a lot closer than I would have thought. He's taught me a lot about being a person of character, being honest, being truthful. He's taught me not to, you know, hide things. He's taught me how to not suppress things, because that's what I was really good at, suppressing. I suppressed my whole entire life. I really did. My whole life I spent suppressing, you know. I mean, I think from the time that I was like in my mother's womb, I was suppressing, you know. It was like there was nothing that I wasn't hiding, you know, especially when it comes to the gender thing. I mean, it's like, I remember at the house, my sister would be coming home and I'd be like rushing to take off her clothes or something, or put things away, or to hide things, or to make sure that everything was perfectly back to normal. And then, you know, it's like living like that for years, you know, I mean, years. And then later as an adult and married, right? I'm like looking up stuff online, because ever since I had, someone says, can't blame your kids having, I'm just gonna read. Can't blame your kids having your manly face dad dressed as a girl would be totally embarrassing. Also, your fake disability while going to the gym, not cool. If I was your son, I would run. Yeah, well, you know, about that, you know, I was involved in a very serious car accident, and the injuries are what they are. I was professionally examined by a person in the Las Cruces area that was certified by the state of New Mexico, and they deemed me as being disabled, and they ran tests and did what they did, and that's where we stand legally. So regardless of how you might feel about me being fake or whatever, you know, that's, again, that's your opinion, that's your that's yours, you know. I mean, and you're entitled to whatever you want to believe, you know, or to feel. And like I said, I know I have haters. There's nothing, you know, you can't really be open and honest online and not have haters, because you're gonna offend somebody, you know. That's just the truth. So I'm sorry you feel that way, but you're entitled to your opinions. But regardless, you know, of all of what you just said, I know I made mistakes. I do. And I wish that I wouldn't have made mistakes, but gosh, when you're like in the thick of it, and you know, you're like a runaway train, you know, you just can't you can't make heads for tails. You're driven by your emotional, you know, I don't know. You're just dealing with a lot of baggage, and if you let it gather over a lifetime, well, it becomes very, very difficult to deal with, you know. And so, what I thought that was going to help me was if I just confronted it face to face and was honest with myself about it. And so that's what I did. And I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was making the right decisions, but I guess I wasn't. I really wasn't. But by the time I had made those decisions, it was too late. And the door had been closed. You know, there's nothing that I could do at that point, because trust had already been shattered. Basically, my marriage was pretty much just kind of imploding all around me. And life as I knew it was just really taking a turn in a totally different direction. But days like this, you know, cause me to think and ponder and wonder if it was all worth it. And I've got to say no, it wasn't. There's no magic rainbow. There's no, you know, there's nothing. Nothing at all. And if it wasn't for Mark, I mean, it would be a huge loss. You know, a huge loss. I don't even know where I'd be. I look online and see other people have done what I did, mid-age, and they all seem so miserable. They all seem like they get their surgeries done, they have the things that they wanted to get done and everything, and they do it. Some even go as far as to have their sexual assignment and everything. They're still living in like severe pain, emotional trauma. You know, they're still dealing with the fact that they hate themselves. You know, they still deal with the realities that people aren't going to accept them. Period. You know, people almost dying on the hospital table, in surgeries, needless, doing things to themselves that, you know, I mean, I'm almost 50 years old. And if I were to allow people to cut on my body, I don't even know what would happen to me. You know, my health would go down the tubes. I would not be setting myself up for a very happy future. It would be a very sad way to live out the rest of my life. I mean, it's already sad enough to lose your children, you know. And like the only person who's commented live here just stated, if I were your son, I would run. And yeah, perhaps so. Perhaps so. But, you know, I'm here today to talk about it because it's what I do, you know. It's what I do. you know, I share in the hopes that maybe, just maybe one person, just one, will listen and will hear my story, and maybe they won't do what I did. They won't put all their eggs in the basket of gender and think that by changing your gender or attempting to, that you're going to solve the things that you struggle with. Because in all honesty, what I did had nothing to do with my gender at all. Come to find out, years later, 5 years later, to be exact, the things that I did, the road that I took, the detour that I went on in my life after having had pretty much everything and had it all, most importantly, the love, admiration, and adoration of my children. I mean, there was nothing. I remember in school, when I was going to college, we took a class, and ironically it was called Marriage and Family. And the professor said, now students, remember that the highest call, that the greatest thing that you can do in your life, and he was talking to future pastors and future missionaries, future evangelists, I went to Bible college, future teachers, the highest call that you could have in your life is that of being a husband, a father, a wife, and a mother. That's it. Leaving your imprint on this world by bringing people into this world who will change the world in a better way and make this world a better place to live in. Well, I kind of blew that one. I did. I blew it. So now I live with the fruit of my labor. Yeah. The fruit of my labor is now being paid for. So I have 2 kids going to college, thank God, and I'm proud of them. But I'll never share in their joys. I won't know of anything. I spend a lot of time every now and then scouring the internet in hopes that maybe I could find some information about one of my kids, like as if, they're going to be on social media and sharing their lives as much as I've done, And the only one that I've ever really come across is my oldest son. That's it. And I'm grateful when I do see a new picture of him or something, or read a post of his or something like that. But the other 4, nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. There's nothing online that I have found. About any of my kids. And I try because I desperately want to know what's going on in their lives, but it never happens. So that's my life. That's the kind of prison I put myself in, not allowing myself to share in their life. And it stinks, but it is what it is. So, those of you who think about this, I know it's hard. I know you feel like maybe you don't fit, you don't, measure up, you don't like yourself, you don't feel confident. Just rest assured that it's never, ever your gender. It's not. It's always, always something else. It's never your gender. No one is born wrong. Not one person. Even the much, used intersex community, they're not even born wrong. They're just different, You're not born wrong at all. You're not born in the wrong body, If your body was wrong, then, you would be sick. Honestly, physically, you would be sick, Physically, if you were born in the wrong body. But what does that mean, to be born in the wrong body? When your body is perfectly normal, Now, what's not normal is when your brain has been affected by circumstances in life that leave you feeling impaired and unable to cope with what life has thrown at you. The challenges that life has brought to you. That in itself causes you to struggle and to want to question why you are the way that you are. And could you be born in the wrong body? But the truth is, no one is. It's just that simple. Choices that we make in the transgender community, 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10 times, affect others in a powerfully great way. And maybe you were abused. Maybe you were emotionally scarred from some event that took place in your house or at school, or maybe you were made fun of, maybe you were demeaned, maybe you just have sought love and you can't find it, and you feel like you're nothing. And that by doing something different to yourself, maybe you could finally be somebody, But it's not your gender that's causing the problem. It's your own expectations about yourself. It's your own view of how you see yourself. And quite honestly, the mirror lies to you. And it tells you, it's like that old, you know, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? I mean, it's that whole self-righteous, self-centered, narcissistic, me attitude that if you let it go and flourish in your life, it's going to do some serious damage. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or what, it's going to do some serious damage. And that's what's happened to a lot of us. A lot of us let our selfish nature just rage out of control like some wildfire burning without the ability to control it. And when it finally gets contained and the last embers are blown out, you look behind you at the trail of destruction that is basically yours, symbolized by the fact that all those scorched acres and acres of land are your fault. And you've destroyed people, experiences, memories, reputations, careers, respect, admiration, adoration, love, all of that has been burned and left to recover on its own in a different way, because the level of trust has now been forsaken, and there's no rebuilding on that. So, I guess I've said a lot, but I said more on this for me probably than I did for you, because today, like I said, is the 12th of November, 5 years after I took my first shot of estrogen. And which marked the first day of the rest of my new life, quote unquote. So hopefully you guys get something out of this. Maybe not, maybe it was just for me, but hey, that's what YouTube's for, right? Be able to share. Hopefully, maybe one person will get it. And maybe they might pause from doing what I did, and your life will be better for it. So anyway, have a great afternoon, you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I'll catch you another time.